wrong chart. Oh, wrong chart. Oh, wrong chart. Hi friends, this is Ethereum. We're talking about Ethereum in today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, we do also do Chainlink like I just had on there. That'll be published later. And Tezos as well. That'll be published. Or else published at the same, around about the same time as this video. Whatever, it'll be recorded after this one. What have we got on the go? Let's take a look at the charts because there's some interesting stuff that's happened here when it comes to Ethereum now that we've actually had a bit of a turnaround in the prices with regards to this descending triangle. And it's worth revisiting this now because if we just move this out of the way for now, we can discuss. In fact, we just hide all the drawings. We can discuss what do we have here. Well, we actually still have a downtrend. Has this low here on this downtrend, this is 24-hour chart, come in with any sort of divergence? And looking towards the lows here in this downtrend, looking at the downs in the downtrend for regular divergence, you can't actually see that. Reminder to folks, the DMI doesn't work exactly the same way. I look at the peaks on this one at the negatives. The DM negative has got stronger on its way down. So that's all happened. What about the ups on the downtrend then? If we just bring this up here and look, then you can see the RSIs come in ever so slightly higher, so you have a touch of hidden bearish divergence there. And the reason I'm talking about that and looking out for it specifically is because I've done a video today, check it out, it's about hidden bearish divergence. Or hidden divergence. You might find it really interesting and might help clear up any confusion you may or may not have about it. It might actually just make you more confused. You tell me. I think it's pretty good though. So that's the situation there, without any sort of drawings on there to give us a bias. That actually just looks like that you could have more of the same. You've got a lower high coming in here. Things could turn around at the point that we said in the previous episode, of course, 242. If we look towards the YouTube, my previous video, you see that written right on the thumbnail right there. So that's the question. Where have we come down to? Well, 234, so we're right in between those areas that we've spoken about, like the thumbnail and whatever else. But we can go back onto the charts here and move this line back over again. So this was previously a descending triangle, which you could have said we've broken out of and we're retesting at the minute. Fair enough if you want to say that. And that is the question then. So is this what's happening in the face of the fact that there's no divergence or whatever? Are we just doing that and that's that? Have we come up towards our fuzzy line here at the 242, found resistance, turn around? Will we go back in again? So key area obviously becomes the sort of the 235 area where you could say that we're actually breaking back into it. And all of that covered now, and we know what the chat is with that one. We can actually feel the freedom of being able to move this over. Now, if what we actually do here instead is take a slightly broader perspective on this, and we go and we say, look, we'll use bodies where there's bodies, and we'll not intersect any if we can avoid it, but we're also just going to use wicks. In fact, if we just use the wicks instead, just for this one, just to make it nice and clear, you can see this wick coming right up to it, this wick coming right up to it, this one coming right up to it, and this one going slightly beyond it. This one didn't quite get as close, and this one just went slightly beyond, a little bit of flux in there. This one running right to it, and then we drag this on down the way and say, this could just go on and on. So we know that this is the case. Everybody knows this is the case. Okay, so don't say you don't know that this is the case, right? And we can just put this guy over a little bit easier to read. Hey, are we faking it or breaking out? This could all continue on the way. Key levels to be aware of: 230, let's call it 236 or 7 or something like that, where previously the line was coming down at in terms of the bodies, right? Which we know is significant. Okay, so can we call this area a significant area and put something in here to remind us for tomorrow, such as this? Okay, so this area here, that's significant because that's where the line was, where it was. Wonder if I completely forget what I'm talking about and come tomorrow's episode. Wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, that's where it was, and this is where it is. And yeah, so that's what we're doing at the minute. Overall, there's plenty of other things that you could be looking to as well. If we take another trend line on here and just draw this down the way, you can be looking at this in any number of ways. For instance, this looks almost channel S towards the downside. This is broadening ever so slightly as well. If you wanted to call it that, you could be looking at this as being a descending broadening wedge going from this period here on the 11th of June down the way where it's broadening. That of course would be your most bullish outlook in terms of a pattern just there in general. So there's differences. I don't think you can get this to be converging really. You'd have to be really far too generous with things, but you could do it. You could if you sort of say like, hey, these bodies here, these wicks, and also don't do it quite as don't be quite so strict about it like we were on the top side here, and just kind of say maybe but not really. No, instead, there's nothing particularly positive about the price action really in general, despite the fact that we've come up here above where it was. So we're looking to see if we can go above, not only stay above where it was, but move beyond where this is, this line at 242. And if not, then we're looking towards 230, 225 for the Hey Pal line. That's what that's called, the Hey Pal line. And then we're going to be asking the questions, if we go anywhere down to the 220 areas, are we breaking out or faking out? With a line here, then this white line going sideways as a 236 to say, maybe we're actually moving beyond that, then we're not faking out, we're breaking out. And what can I do just to finish off this episode is we can zoom over to the left and we can say hello to our friend, because you might not have seen him for a wee while. So just if you've been missing him, maybe you've been missing him and you've been wanting to say hi. And the great thing about it is that the more that you zoom in, the happier he sees. So he's happier to see you, he's happier to see you. See, he's smiling now more, smiling and smiling more than he was before. So isn't that great? I'm really happy to see you too. I would really appreciate if you hit the subscribe button on these channels. I do put my heart and soul into them on every day, and we're looking at coming up to 1,000 subscribers now. I mean, can you imagine if we got to 1,000 subscribers this week? Wouldn't it be so amazing? I'm so humbled by the fact that people actually want to subscribe to this channel all the time. But I'm also so blown away and amazed by the comments I've had recently from people saying things like how they think the channel should have 100,000 subscribers and stuff like that. I'm just so humbled and pleased and proud of everybody out there and the community that we're forming. It's so fantastic. I really just want to say a massive thank you to everybody for being a part of the channel's growth, and how much I genuinely appreciate it, and appreciate every single last one of you. So thank you so much. And if you do choose to hit that subscribe button and be a part of that epic 100 that bring us up to the 1,000, then I say, well, you're just the best. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Going to go on and do those other videos now. Really appreciate it. Is there anything I'm missing here? Yeah, okay, there's one thing I'm missing. I've said bye, I've said everything else, just so that you know, if you stuck through to this point in the video, hey, take a look towards our sort of companion assets. Always remember that while we're looking at things that in terms of what they've achieved and where they come from in recent times, if we look towards the Bitcoin pricing, and you can see that we're in a similar sort of scenario here where we've got this downward trend, yada yada. There was some bullish divergence that's led up to this. There could be the case to be made for hidden bearish divergence. Looking at these time frames, you see here the RSI coming up higher than it was previously as we form this high here compared to this other high. So you've got hidden bearish divergence between 1, 2, and actually 3 points here. So there's that hidden divergence there. You just drag it up to the word, and then the bullish divergence. Well, this sign, this box isn't in the right place. But bear this in mind. Should we see movements towards the downside, I think a lot of people will be caught wrong-sided with that. So look across the markets, be aware of how things are going. While this has been good and everything else, you can still see that there isn't anything especially fantastic to write home about things until such times as you're really going up towards the 250s. Okay, that's what you need to know. Yeah, that's all you need to know. Of course, there was the failed head and shoulders, stuff like that. Yeah, that's all good. Right. Massively appreciate you tuning in, really do. If you hit that subscribe button, then great. If you stuck past me saying bye to the sort of the little gem information at the end, then good on you. Catch you in the next episode. Thanks so much. I always appreciate everybody who views even for a minute, but if you viewed the whole thing, then you're a star. Catch you next time.